if you're hopping on this call or on this live interview tonight, let us know. Like, comment where you live, where you're watching this video from, and we'd like to know who's with us and where you guys are from. So, all right, Gio, did you get that shared over to your Facebook page?
I'm trying to do that now as we speak.
Cool.
I see the share button.
Yep,
I'm
just
not
share. And it will go automatically to your Facebook page. Hey, I see Frank hopping on with us right now.
Okay.
If you're just hopping on, let us know where you guys are watching from. And we're working through a couple technical difficulty. I think we're ready now.
All right, let's just get to it. I mean, we can always go back, share it, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. So thank you for, just like Scottie was saying, guys, thank you so much for being on here. This is a live call that we're doing. And what I'm doing specifically now is an opportunity to go ahead and give Scott viewers as well as my viewers, what is Team Beachbody all about? How did it come by, as far as the people that I'm interviewing, their specific stories, like how much it has changed their entire life. But we're going to also delve deep into their story, their why, and also programs, because I'm just like, his view, including my viewers, people are like, man, you got some amazing results. Like, what is it that you're doing? So this is what it's all about, guys. So without further ado, I'm just going to let my man introduce himself so that way you guys can get to know him a bit more. So Scottie, go ahead and take it away. Tell me, what's your full name? Well, I'm assuming, of course, in my end, like, who is this guy that he's interviewing? So let's start with that.
So sorry it's a little bit dark. It started getting dark out here, but kids are inside, and I wanted a little bit of peacefulness out here as we did this. So my name's Scott Hobbs. I'm 38 years old. I'll be 39 this year. I've been married to my wife, Gabby, now for 13 years. It'll be 14 years this summer. We have 5 kids. The oldest of our kids is, sorry, I thought we had a little glitch there. The oldest of our kids is 13. And then we have first 3 girls. We have 13, 11, and 9. And then we have 2 boys that are 7 and 5. An interesting fact, and then I'll let Gio start answering the questions, is I met my wife at a music festival called Warped Tour.
Nice. That's awesome. I love that, Scottie. Are you hearing me? I'm sorry.
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. So there goes a little bit of introduction of who he is, guys. Now we're going to go ahead and start delving into, he is an amazing guy. Like, you know what? I personally have known him for the past 6 years, for those of you viewers, including my viewers, and he's been a mentor of mine. He's been a really good friend, an actual brother to, my brother from another mother, I like to say. But, an overall just, genuine type of guy. And like I said, a lot of the viewers are probably watching, like, they've seen some of my videos, they've seen some of our inspirational videos, including Scottie on the other end. So, Scott, what I wanted to do is actually, before, where you are now, let's go back to the Scottie pre, the workouts, pre the coach, you do at home, staying home, doing this full time now. Let's start, way before that. Let's go ahead and start before. So how did you ever even heard about, the workout programs? How did that all come about?
Yeah, so we could go way back and take a ton of time, but I don't want to take too much time, but I want you to really understand where I was coming from as I got started, because many of you guys might be in that spot right now, whether it's with Team Beachbody thinking about starting your fitness and your health and your nutrition journey, or it might be looking at, okay, is there something I could do to build income and help pay off this debt or whatever it is, the school debt or whatever it is, credit card debt that you might have. So for me, I just remember growing up, and as I met my wife, just having this idea that I would have just a beautiful home. Didn't have to be huge, didn't have to be a large home. I would have a beautiful home where I could have this family life, have my wife, have a few kids, and spend time together. And I thought, I'm a hardworking guy. I first started working in the potato fields moving pipe when I was 13 years old at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. So I know hard work. I know what that takes. So I figured that would translate into, when I got married, having a great job, be a hard worker, have a great home, a great job, and just a great family life like that. And, as we got married, when we first I was a dental lab technician when I met Gabby. So I made crown and bridge for people for implants. And I was making $11 an hour in Salt Lake City. And we didn't have any health insurance, and we had our first kid. So fortunately, we had the support of WIC and Medicare to help buy the milk and the eggs and get diapers and all that stuff for our first daughter. But I worked, and there came a point when it was about 3 months after my daughter was born. I went to my boss. I'd been there for 2 years. It was just him and I. And I'm like, hey, I think it's time that we start talking about if I could have a raise. We just had our daughter, and I'm struggling a little bit to keep up. And he just told me straightforward, you're not worth it yet. And so I left that job, and I was like, I'm going to move back to Idaho Falls, where I'm from. So my wife, I pulled her along with my little 3-month-old baby. We picked up and we moved back to Idaho Falls, where I'm originally from. And I couldn't find a dental lab job. So I went back to work for my old church leader, who provided me a job all throughout high school and as I was going to college. And he offered me $9.50 an hour, and he knew I was a hard worker. I worked for him since I was a young teenager. So he knew I could work. And he said, I can pay you $9.50 an hour, but the only job we have is sweeping. And there's a lot of other odd jobs here. If you're working hard, then we will, you can work as many overtime hours as you want. So that's how we got started. We bought a brand new home. My wife was working, I was working. We put our daughter in daycare. And then we shortly after that realized that we didn't want someone else raising our kid within weeks. So my wife left her day job and got a night job so that she could watch our daughter Kina in the day. I could watch her at night when I got home from my 12 hours. I'd go to work at 5 a.m, get home at 5 p.m. So that's where we're at. I'm about 4 years into working like that, working 12-hour days almost every Saturday, and my wife working nights. And we had, I didn't have really any friends in the neighborhood at all. I didn't talk to anybody because I'd go to work at 5, get home at 5, take care of my daughters by myself while my wife was at work, and then go to bed, play some Call of Duty, go to bed, wake back up, and repeat. And then one day this guy knocks on my door, and I let him in because he had a plate of brownies, and I'm a fan of stuff sweet. So he comes in and we start chatting. He's like, hey, I'm new. I just moved here from new in the neighborhood. I just moved here from Utah. He's like, I heard you have 2 little girls. I have 2 little girls. And this whole time he's like, I just want to make some friends. And turns out he was from our church, but I just couldn't stop just admiring how much confidence he had and how fit he was. Like his biceps were bulging out of his t-shirt like veins. And I'm like, dude, what the heck do you do? Because at this time I'd never worked out, and I was this fluffy kid that was just tired all day, all the time. And so I'm like, dude, what are you doing, man? And he's like, well, I played football for the University of Utah. I'm the special teams coach and strength coach for the high school football team. That's why I got a job up here for. And so I'm like, cool. Can you help me? And he's like, yeah, come weight train with us. And I'm like, okay, I'm down. Let's do it. And unfortunately he invited me, but they trained the high school kids at 6 a.m. and I was going to work every day at 5. So I couldn't do that with him. So he's like, I was like, do you have anything I could just start doing at home? And at that moment, he's just like, dude, you should do that P90X workout. So long story short, Gio, that's where I started with Team Beachbody Workouts is just to know a little background of me and then and how I got introduced to it. It was just me seeing somebody that was healthy, fit, vibrant, confident, and saying, I want to look and I want to feel like you feel right now. So a little bit about me. When I decide to do something, I commit 100%. Like I'm all in when I do something. So I followed the meal plan. I did the P90X workouts, the 90-day program, home fitness, all of that. I bought my dumbbells on Craigslist, and I went at it, and I lost 38 pounds in those 90 days. And I had abs for the first time in my life, and I'm like, who's this? Like, this is awesome. And like something started to happen. Like I fell in love. At first I hated the workouts. I I got dizzy, almost threw up my first chest and back workout with P90X. But as I started to do it, I started to feel better. Like I started to feel those endorphins from working out. And my lunch break, instead of sitting down and on my computer, which I sat at the whole day there, I would play Call of Duty on my lunch break with my coworkers. I started going on jogs during my lunch break on top of it. So I just fell in love with this working out. And do you want me to go into how I learned about coaching as well?
Yeah, so you know what? That's actually going to be my next question. So you gave the answer as far as my question is how you came about, using the program. Who was the one who introduced you to it? Definitely, I want to now go into, how you started becoming a coach and how now that has changed your life, because I'm sure a lot of your viewers who are seeing you for the very first time or just have been watching your videos, including some of my viewers, they're like, man, Jill, like I can see you doing this, but I don't, it's probably for me, or you know what, I don't myself there. So how did you get into the coaching opportunity?
Yeah, I'll address kind of what you said before. Some people might be watching this and saying like, I can't really see myself doing what you're doing, Gio, or what Scottie's doing. And if I look back and I'll talk about how I got started, but when I'm talking to my coaches and like helping them understand who are the people around them that they could help. Like I'm the guy before that friend of mine knocked on the door, brought me a plate of brownies. Like if he was out trying to recruit me to buy a product from him, P90X, and do workouts, from the outside, he would have been like, he's not the one to do this. Like he is not somebody that would be a fitness guy that would want to do these workouts, or he's not somebody that would want to be a coach because like he's working so many hours. He's taking care of his girls at night by himself. Like I think all he does in his spare time is play Call of Duty, and that little bit of like coaching would not be for him. And I was super shy. I'm naturally very introverted. Like I'm in my sweet place right now because there's no humans around. Like I'm out in the woods right now. But
Say introvert?
Yeah, I'm very introverted. So for me, I became a coach without knowing it. And I know that probably sounds a little strange, and I'll explain, is because I started doing those workouts. Like I said, I lost 38 pounds, had abs for the first time, this new confidence, this new energy. People started asking me like, dude, what has come over you? Like, what are you doing, man? Like something is different. And so because I started asking, like I obviously just shared what I was doing. I was like, dude, I'm doing P90X. You have to try it. Or I'm doing Insanity. Like you have got to try it. Like you could just put the DVD in, push play, and just follow along, and you're going to get awesome results. And so I started doing that. And I'll be honest, there were people that were like, okay, the fitness posts are getting annoying. Like I don't want to see any more fitness stuff on Facebook. You have anything else in your life other than fitness? So I was like, okay, I'm a little bit crazy right there. So I formed a Facebook group, and I started anybody that did want help with their health and fitness or doing P90X or Insanity. And remember, I'm not a coach yet. I'm just somebody that loves the workouts, had results, and people are asking me. So I create this group, Staying Fit Family. Anybody that's like, I'm inspired, I need help, do you have any advice? I bring them into the group, and I just tell them, go get P90X, go get Insanity. I'm running on my lunch break every other day. Like you could do that. You could start running, drink more water. I just started sharing the things that I was doing. And then a funny thing happened is I put my before after pictures into a Facebook page, the P90X Facebook page. And I had about 30 people that were Beachbody coaches send me these private messages saying like, oh my gosh, you have great results. You should totally be a coach on our team. Like, do you want to talk to my upline coach? And to be honest, I was thrown off. I was a little bit turned off by that. I was like, what is this? Like, I don't even know what an upline coach is. No, I don't want to do a 3-way call. That sounds like something that I'm not have anything to do with. I'm a happily married man. I don't want no 3-way phone calls. and so I was like, it's kind of funny because looking back on my memories on Facebook, one day I wrote like, if any of these coaches could actually convince me to become a coach, I would, and I use the word destroy it. It sounds funny now, but I was like, I would destroy it at coaching. And I think that leads to a very important thing. It's because of what I shared in the beginning. When I commit to something, like I don't half-ass it. Like I commit to it. I'm willing to learn, go through the process, and become good at it. So But I said that because I was like, I'm never going to do that coaching thing. There's no way, because I'm not going to send all these messages to complete strangers saying, do you want to come do this? So I was not going to do it, but I love the programs and I love helping people. So I continue to do it. But I am curious because at this time, Gio, I am working 12 hours a day. My wife's working nights. I'm buying and selling things on Craigslist. Like I would buy Xboxes with like 20 games or whatever. I would clean them up. I would relist them and sell games individually. And I would make $20, $30, $40 profit to help go towards the family bills. I would do any odd job that I could. I put up, like I learned how to, in our new home, I put up a vinyl fence, like with the help of YouTube. So I helped about every neighbor in my cul-de-sac put up their fence as like an odd job. So the idea was planted in my mind, like, okay, there's some these coaches, like I don't like what they're doing, but they're earning money doing what I'm doing. Like they're helping people with health and fitness and they're getting paid. So I Google search I YouTube search and I find a video from who's my coach. And she's like, hey, she's doing like a transformation video. I lost 30 pounds. And she's like, and guess what? Like I found out that I could be a part of or partnered with the company. So I called the company Beachbody and they signed me up as a coach membership. And like now I'm sharing my results with other people. And I've left bartending, which I did at nights, and I'm home with my daughter who was just born prematurely. And we, like with that premature birth, we incurred a few $100,000 worth of debt. And because of Team Beachbody and what I'm doing, I'm able to be home and not at bartending. And I'm slowly paying off that debt. And I listened to that video in my office and I was like, what? Like you're working on paying off a few $100,000 worth of debt. I'm like, my mortgage is like that. And that's why I'm working 12-hour days. That's why I'm taking all these odd jobs. And I'm like, maybe this is for me. So I looked at the description of her video for some contact info. I emailed her. She got on the phone with me. She asked me about my life, a lot of things we talked about here today. And she's like, Scottie, you would be a great coach. Like you're already doing what I'm doing, but you're just not getting paid for it. And she's like, you should join my team as a coach. And guys, I told her, no. I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. That's cool that it works for you. I didn't tell her this, but she's looks kind of like a supermodel, like very good looking, very good on social media. And I'm this introverted kid from Idaho Falls. I'm like, that's cool. It works for you, but that's not something for me. But what happened, guys, Gio, over the next 8 months, long story short, is I watched her. I watched the way that she helped people. That she wasn't pushy, that she just shared her life, what she was going through, shared transformations. And I'm like, okay. And I never got a script from her or a weird private message. I was like, I could do it like that. Like I could do a business like that where it feels good to me. So 8 months passed since I told her no. And I just silently watched what she was doing. And we had our third baby, Ellie. She's now 9 years old. And I remember it was April 11th, 2011. And it was about, a few weeks after her birth. And I remember I have this bad habit of picking up the mail only like every 2 weeks from our lockbox. And I would just get it. Like I hated bills. So I would just do it I could just do it twice a month, like all in one shot. And so I went and picked it up and it was the hospital bill, our Blue Cross statement of like our benefits and what we would pay, what they would pay. Hospital bill, doctor bill, all of that stuff. And I remember Gio like feeling this overwhelming weight on my shoulders. I was sitting in my cubicle just before 5 a.m. and I felt like my cubicle was spinning around. Like it was like I had no control. It's like, what am I going to do? It's like over $3,000 and we're already paycheck to paycheck. Do I have to go back to school? I dropped out of college, by the way. It's like, do I have to go back to college and get a degree? Do I have to get a different higher paying job? Do I have to send Gabby to school? And all of these things would take away from our income because we're currently working jobs. And I was like, what do I do? Like, what are my options? Just weighing through all of those. And then it just dawned on me, Lindsay, like call Lindsay. Like she shared with you how she's doing this. And it just in that moment, it all made sense. I'm like, I can be a coach. I don't have to leave my family more than I already am, the 12 hours away from the house to go get a degree or any of that stuff. When I put my kids to bed at night, I can stop playing Call of Duty and I can build this business at night when the kids are in bed. My wife's at work, my kids are in bed, I can build this business. And so that's how it started for me. And I worked my butt off, and Beachbody does not guarantee any level of success or income. Each coach's results will be a reflection of their diligence, effort, and skill. But over the course of 14 months, I was able to triple my full-time income. And my wife and I both left our jobs she left in April 2012. I left in June of 2012. And I've been a full-time, I call it full-time stay-at-home dad and a part-time Beachbody coach for the past 8 years now. Are you there, Gio?
Wow. Yeah.
Awesome. So that's
Scottie, that's just amazing. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And I mean, that's where it all began for me 9 years ago. We've been full-time now for 8 years. But one thing I want you guys to know is it's not something that just comes easy. Like nothing that you have in your life comes easy. And I like to be very straightforward with people because I want people on our team and to do what we do that aren't just going to expect that there's some magic pill or some magic trick and you're automatically going to be successful. It takes showing up every single day consistently. Just like I did in my P90X journey, I just translated that discipline of making a good food choices every day, doing my workout every day, to what we do as coaches, which are, be proof the products work. We read books to improve our mindset and grow ourselves as a person. And we connect with people, find out the need that they have and the way that we can serve them whether they buy from us or not, help them improve their life, and then go on to help them to pay that forward to other people. And it's just doing that consistently every single day.
That's amazing. You know what? I'm just getting goosebumps right now just listening to your story, Scottie. It never ceases to amaze me, and I've heard it for the past 6 years that we've known each other. And I want your viewers, including my viewers, to understand that, to your point, when you really want something, you go out for it, and there is nothing that's going to hold you back because you have something in your mind, you have a goal, and you're just like, enough is enough. And that was your turning point, to your point, where you're just like, enough is enough. I need to do better. I know I can do better, and made it happen. And that's just amazing because a lot of the times I think, other businesses, they focus on one particular skill, whatever skill that is, and it's just that in order to improve. What I love about what we do as coaches, that first and foremost, you focus on yourself. You focus physically, you focus mentally, and you grow into a better person. And then that's when you really start to help out other people, just like how you start to spread that positivity. You start to go ahead and say, but I can't just keep this to myself. I need to share this because there are millions of people out there who are just like me, just like Scottie, just like me, Gio, that need this in their lives. So that's just amazing. One last question to go ahead and finish everything. I want to say, of course, thank you so much. If you were to look back at your younger self, now that you've accomplished everything thus far, you're a stay-at-home dad, you've been, stay-at-home dad for a couple of years. To your point, you were able to pass your income of any type of job you've ever had, your career span of what you've done. You are now seeing your kids more so than more than millions of people of what they're doing. Would you think for a moment, going back in time and saying, I knew I was going to, would that even ever cross your mind?
Yeah, I think this is an important topic and a great way to end this. And I like to tell stories. It's the way that I understand things the best. And, when I started, I signed up on April 11th, 2011. I told you that I worked hard every single day and what we were able to accomplish. But guys, I didn't have internet in my house. I didn't even have a smartphone. And I signed up to do an online business. Right. And it's goes back to what Gio says, you got to be committed to something. When you're committed to something, you'll find a way. But I remember doing a call with my coach called the Getting Started Right call. And I'm like, Lindsay, and this was my big dream, because you guys see what the life we might be living right now. I'm like this is my view right now. And, during this Corona time, but it didn't start like that. It was Gio, I just wanted to make $10,000 with this side business. And that's all I could really believe that was possible for me in that moment when I started. I was like, I'm going to make $10,000. Like, I see that could be possible for me to do as a part-time side business. And that's going to be important for me because, you know, my wife's making about $12,000 working at the hotel at nights. So if I could make $10,000, it would mean the world to me because she could come home from work, like not have to work. I could work my 12-hour workday. When I get home at 5, we could have dinner together as a family. Our 3 little girls and us, we could go out and kick soccer balls around and hit baseball and play basketball and spend time together as a family, which we weren't doing. And that was the big goal and the big dream. So looking back, like, that was dreaming big for me at that time. But where that shifted for me, and an important thing I want to mention to you guys is I remember telling my coach, like Lindsay, I was like, Lindsay, I need to make this much, $10,000. And she's like, Scottie, I can't promise you $10,000, but I promise that your income will be a direct reflection of the number of lives that you change. So I made a commitment. I'm going to change as many lives as possible. I'm going to do everything I can every single day to reach people and change their life. And I don't care if they buy from me or not, because that first year before I became a coach, they weren't buying from me. And I was extremely fulfilled by the act of being a coach, of what I was doing as a coach. So I work super hard, Gio, at that. And so I set little goals along the way, little benchmarks. But there's a moment when that became bigger for me. And I want to share that moment with you guys. I was about 8 months into my journey. And like I told you guys, this is hard, like changing your own life. If you have bad habits right now, whether it's smoking or whatever it may be, or drinking or negative self-talk, it's hard to change bad habits. So when I say coaching is hard, you have to change yourself first, and then you have to, because of your example and your influence, help other people change. So it's hard like that, but the steps are simple. So I remember it was difficult, 12-hour work days. You guys probably know this, getting home. Like I almost never felt like doing the work, but I had that clear vision of what I wanted, of that $10,000 and bringing my wife home from work. That there was this moment about 8 months into my journey where I was sick with the man cold. And you guys know what it is. It's where us men we nearly die because we have the cold. Anyway, I stayed home from work for like 3 days, and my wife on the third day is like, Scottie, you should get up, take a shower, get dressed. And, Keena's about to get off the school bus. She was in kindergarten. She's like, you could go to the end of the cul-de-sac and pick her up, doing all that stuff. I bet you'll start to feel better. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And so I do all that stuff. I start walking down the cul-de-sac, and I'm halfway down the cul-de-sac, and her bus pulls up. And I remember it's like it was yesterday. It pulls up, and I remember the sound of like the brakes that the bus has, and that, I don't know, like the hydraulics of the door, like as it swings open. And I see this little girl grab the handrails to step down those 3 little steps. And she looks up, and I'm about halfway there, and she sees me. And this smile comes across her face as she sees her daddy, because I'd never gone to pick her up before. And man, it stopped me. Like tears immediately streamed down my cheeks. I stopped in my tracks, and I had this moment of reflection of like, man, how many of these moments have I missed? Like rush, 12-hour work days. And even when I got home from work, it's like, okay, feed you, change the diapers of like 3 little kids, and throw you in bed so I could work. And I was like, man, how many of these moments have I missed? And how many will I continue to miss in the future if I don't continue down this path of really making this business work for me? And that's the moment where it became bigger for me, Gio. I was like, you know what? I don't want to miss moments. Like if the kids need help in their classroom at school, I want to be the dad that can go help. If they're going on a field trip, I want to be able to go. And so that's the moment when it went from a $10,000 dream to, you know what? I'm going to do whatever it takes to make this surpass my income so that I can stay home. I could be home and present with my kids for the future. But the biggest thing is that's where I realized as well, it's like, dude, if Scottie, like the college dropout, the introverted shy kid from Idaho, the ex-alcoholic drug addict from my early 20s. If he could build this business, then I could teach, mentor, inspire anybody to do it. And so that's where it became my mission. Like why you see me so excited and passionate, like right now, today in 2020, sharing what we do, because it's much bigger than just helping someone lose weight, get healthy, get fit. All of that stuff is we have the ability to help people completely change their lives. And it doesn't have to be a big dream in the beginning. It could be those small things, but that's why I'm here. And I say our mission is continually empowering others to continually develop into their fullest potential. So looking back on my old self, it's okay if you don't have a big dream, or if you don't want to leave your job, that's totally cool. But what would you do? Like, how would your life be different 5 years from now if you were the healthiest you've ever been? You had a ton of extra energy, your confidence was built, your self-esteem was better, and you even made a few $100 extra a month to help pay off your house in 20 years versus 30 years. Or to have a savings account, so if you lost your job, you could survive for a year or 2 years until you got back on track. And so that's why I'm here, because there's about every human I've ever met needs something along those lines.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And unfortunately, I have my son here with me who's
It's like shining a flashlight.
shining a flashlight. Yes.
That's all right, man.
And I couldn't have been more honored and more, grateful and humble to be part of the team that you are, and that you continue to inspire for everyone else, and including to your viewers and my viewers. I hope again that this really helps each and every single one of you guys out, just to kind of show that we're humans. We mess up, we have a history, we've done bad things, but at the end of the day, we do have a calling, we do have something that, we have to offer. And it is something good that it definitely comes out of our goodness of the heart. And we know that there are thousands, if not millions, that's actually millions of people right now, even more so than ever, that can use that maybe extra income, for groceries or for payment, whatever the case may be, or just feeling that fulfillment of being to, say, hey, I was born to do something and I want to do something with my life.
Yes.
So, Scottie, I just want to say thank you so much once again. It's been a pleasure. That's all I have to say, honestly. I just continue being in awe with your story.
It's I'm blessed to have someone like you on our team, Gio, and this is only the beginning for us.
Definitely is, my brother. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you to Scottie's viewers and to my viewers. We'll see you next week also in another interview that we'll be doing. So stay tuned for that. God bless to you, my friend, and have a good one, okay?
See ya.